And in five, four, three, two, one. Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to What's the Dillies podcast. What's the Dillies is a podcast I created to bring the dance community closer together by bringing you behind the scenes and into the minds of my favorite dancers in hopes that it can help you on your dance journey and maybe can help you in your life too. And for today, we are lucky enough to be joined by one of the oldest b-boys around. Hey. That was kind of sneaky. It's kind of true though, kind of true. We are lucky enough to be joined by J-Fresh. All right, what's up,
Yo,
J-Fresh?
what's up? What's up?
How are you? How are you?
Good, good.
All right, J-Fresh. So usually we start off this year's episode with one question, which is 2020. It was like a really big year for everybody. You know, people experienced like many things during that year through lockdown, COVID, and everything. So, what is one thing that you are leaving behind in 2020, and what is one thing you are taking forward with you into 2021?
I suppose what 2020 had for me was a lot more time with my family. You know, got locked down, so you know, I know it was a blessing and a curse kind of thing for a lot of different people. For me, it just meant that I got to spend more time with my family.
Nice.
Get closer, appreciate my kids' teachers a lot more, and see the great job that they do. Because, you know, I had to be replacement teacher for my own children, which was a bit of a change.
Did they do Zoom classes or?
Yeah, a bit of that, but, you know, the parents would always get left with work and stuff that they got to work with their children. See. And so, yeah, I'm kind of taking that with me, I guess just the effort and goodwill that I'm gonna put into this year with our children. Yeah.
How old are your children, Jeff?
10 and 12.
10 and 12. Wow. Is their homework hard? Like, do you remember their homework?
Bro, not even gonna joke. Some of my daughter's homework, like I'm looking at, I'm like, here, give me here.
Yeah.
Look, oh damn! I don't know how to.
All right, mom, come in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, nice, crack up. Cause sometimes I think back to like the days when I was in school, and like sometimes kids would ask me for help on their homework, and I'm like, oh yeah, sweet, you know, just like a few family cousins or whatever. I'm like, oh damn, I actually can't remember this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was only a few years ago as well. So it reminded you to spend time with your family, right?
Yeah.
So was there anything that you want to leave behind in 2020? Like any bad mindsets, any just thoughts at all?
No, I don't know.
Damn.
No, pretty good. Like I did actually enjoy 2020 as horrific of a year as it was.
Solid. That's awesome, bro. Did you during the lockdown period, because you're also participating in Projekt Lockdown, which was a competition. For those of you guys that don't know, Projekt Lockdown was like a small competition that we held online during COVID season when we were all on lockdown, the first one. And that's a competition where everybody just had to come up with videos to specific challenges, and J-Fresh was killing it, bro. He did like whole tours around his house. Yeah. How's that?
Oh, that was cool, bro, because like obviously like as a creative head yourself, you'd know that like we just got to create, like otherwise we kind of go crazy in our houses, especially with the lockdown. Definitely. So when the project fam, you know, put out the challenge to all of us to, you know, go through and do these videos. Again, it's another one of those things I was just a little bit scared of. I always get a little bit scared from competition. But again, I knew I'd gain something out of doing it. And then as the challenges got put towards us, because at first I thought it was just going to be straight, just do a cool video, and we'll face you off against the next cool video. But as they put the challenges forward, it really it pushed you to have to dig deep for something. Yeah.
I think we were having like an ongoing conversation in the Auckland project chat where we're like, yo, when's J-Fresh gonna bust out Izzy? We're like, damn, bro, that's gonna kill us all. Like, imagine that popularity, like just out of nowhere you just put Izzy in for the last video. You're like, oh damn, alright boys, game over, let's go home.
Yep.
Okay. Alright, J-Fresh, so how did you start your? Oh, actually, how did you start your dance career? And also, how did you get your name J-Fresh? Because we heard the story yesterday at the workshops, but I'd love to hear it again.
Should I start with how I started my dance journey?
Yeah.
So I'm from a little town called Levin, close to Palmerston North, and basically, I used to be a hardcore skater. So all I'd be, if you wanted to find me, I'd be at the skate park night and day. And it wasn't until Time Bandits came through our town. Time Bandits is one of the best b-boy, b-girl crews in New Zealand. And
How long ago was this, bro? Time Bandits.
Oh, bro, that was like 1999.
Wow.
2000.
Bro, that was the year I was born, bro.
It's crazy.
Jesus.
Yeah, so they came through as I was skating, and I just remember seeing one of the b-boys there just do like an L kick. And I'd never seen breakdancing or breaking before. And so as soon as I seen that L kick, I was like, whoa, whatever that is, that's the greatest dance of all time.
Ah, nice.
So, I instantly fell in love. Then I seen someone else do a flare, and I was, wow,
Tight.
that's the greatest move of all time. So I guess from there, me and a couple of my boys who were really inspired that day by the b-boys, b-girls we seen, we just went back to my house and was practicing trying to do windmills and flares on our backyard. I guess from there, at school discos that come up, I'll do some dancing there with my whack moonwalk,
Nice.
followed up by my flare to my bum.
Hey, yeesh.
Yep.
Did you get any bum bruises?
Oh, bro, heaps.
I know, mate.
But I already had them from skating, so like.
Ah, yeah. So nothing new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose what happened from there. I suppose I learnt quite a lot of power moves. Actually, I used to break at school as well with a couple of guys there that were really good. Like we had this one guy, like it was only 1999, 2000, about then, and we already had one guy in our school that could do like 10 air flares.
Oh my,
and back then, like
that's
air
crazy.
flares was like one of those moves that had just come out, and everyone was like, "How do you do that?"
Bro, air flares, even today, I haven't seen anybody do air flare besides like Lee Rock.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah, so like that guy there, his name's Tyrone. Bro, I reckon if he carried on, he would have been like, he could have been world champ, kind of thing.
Like BC1?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, definitely, especially back then as well.
Yeah. So, from at school, I had a handful of moves, which back then, because there was no internet or anything, and no one to really go and learn from, no classes, all I could do is try and practice what I could see others do.
Yeah.
So I had flares, windmills, 90s, 2000s, swipes, no footwork at all. Simply because no one did footwork or anything back then.
No, because power's just more fun.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest, power is just more fun.
Yeah, well, we wanted to impress the girls, so you got to do big, huge flips, spins.
Especially because as well, like when you're youthful, power just comes a lot more easier.
Yeah. See, like I was at like 3 flares within like a week.
In a week,
yeah,
bro, that's crazy. It took me 1 year to get more than like 2 flares.
Yeah.
Like, oh, damn, that's crazy.
But like after that, I kind of hit a roadblock, simply because, like I said, I learnt all the moves that I know. So I was, I didn't know what else to try and do to get better.
Yeah.
So I guess I stopped for quite a few years. I think a few years later, maybe like 2004, 2005, something like that, I ended up in Rotorua, where I moved to. I moved to Oz.
Yeah.
Worked over there for a bit, came back, moved to Rotorua, and met up with a guy called Edu.
When you were in Oz, bro, did you was there a scene in Oz?
There actually was a scene, but I didn't know there was a scene.
Oh.
So all I did over there was, I went from skateboarding to breaking in Levin. Then when I moved to Oz, there's a huge skating community, so I just carried on skating.
Ah, okay, I see. Yep.
Yeah. So I did that. When I moved back to Rotorua, I thought I was caught jamming outside my house, my nan's house, was just practicing some flares, seeing if I could still do them.
Just the use.
Kind of thing.
Just the use, bro.
Yep. And there's some kid walking past me. He just goes, "Bro, do you know Edu?" And I was like, "Nah, I don't know Edu." And then he's like, he's a really good b-boy. And I was like, "Oh, yo, that's dope." And so he goes, "Bro, he'll be dancing at this place in town tonight. You know, you should go." And I was like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe." Anyways, I was bored that night, so I had nothing to do. So I went.
Yeah.
I showed up there and seen this guy Edu with his boys. They were all breaking in the middle of the floor, and I seen that little kid that was going past my house. So this kid goes straight over to them, and he's like, "Oh, this fellow over here, his name's Jay. He's gonna smoke you."
Oh, bro.
And then so they came at me.
Yeah.
They were quite beefy.
Yeah.
You know, like, "Bro, who do you think you are?"
Bro, like, cause I know the J-Fresh now is like a bit more like more welcoming, more friendly. But back then, were you more confrontational or just the same? Like,
yeah, because I grew up in quite a confrontational like upbringing.
Yeah.
And so when I seen them do that, they were pushing the challenge, and they pretty much like caged me, you know, like I'll do a round with him, and I'll do a round with him, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one, and it was quite an aggressive battle, like. But I don't know. I think after like 2 or 3 rounds with each of them, I think we kind of earned each other's respect. Like they were like, "Oh, this guy's pretty good."
Now, be honest, did you smoke them?
Nah, it was pretty even. Like,
Right.
it was good battle.
Right.
And I became best friends with them. So that Edu that I'm talking about, I don't know if you know his brother Chevy.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Dance
Chevy.
with ID.
Yep.
Yeah, so I ended up, Edu hit me up after that, like, "Yo, you should come join my crew." And I was like, "Oh, you got a crew? Yo, that's dope." So I went to this crew practice, right, and when I got there, they weren't breaking.
Oh.
They were doing, like, choreography.
Buzzy.
And I was like, oh, and my first thought was like, "Nah, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm a b-boy, you know." But I'd already promised the bro that, you know, I was going to get down, so I joined his crew, Crucial Movement, yeah. And I guess we entered our first comp. I kind of committed myself because I said I was going to commit.
Yep.
So I thought, I'll do this one competition and then I'll jump out.
Yeah.
Did that competition, and like, you know, I got heaps of props that day.
Oh, tight.
You know, my ego got boosted, and because I was still young, you know, I was like, I felt like I was like king, you know.
Nah, that's everybody, bro. We always feel like we're king.
Yeah, so after that, you know, after getting all this props and whatnot from people, I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna keep, bro. I'm a dancer. I'm a dancer. I'm a hip hop dancer." So I did that scene for a few years, which I don't know. It was always cool because, you know, we got to meet up with all the OG crews. Well, they're called OG crews now, at like the SDNZs and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
First met bro Josh there when he was in Triple Eight Funk. But like back then, I think like crews kind of kept to themselves a little bit more back then.
Oh really?
Yeah, so it was like, "Hey," and then go back to our corner and stay over here and not mingle.
Oh, true. Cause that's how it feels like in today's, like back when I was in like the competition scene, like maybe 4 years ago.
Yep.
That's how it kind of felt as well. I don't know how it's changed today, but it's funny to hear that it's been all the same even back then as well.
Yep. Yeah. And I suppose after that, like I did a few years of that, but I feel like I got to a point with, you know, people have called it urban dance, choreography, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
That I just felt like I'm not pushing myself in dance anymore. Like learning different steps was kind of easy.
Yeah.
But like, you know, and so I ended up entering one of Dujon's competitions, Swagfest.
Oh yeah.
I think I was like the second one. Only because I seen from a couple of my mates how good the first one looked. I was like, "Yo, they look cool. It looked kind of inviting." Because, you know, a lot of the battle scene prior to that had been quite unwelcoming. And
like unwelcoming how?
Oh, it's just like, it was just too serious. Like, like even before competition and after the competition. So not just during the battle. Like I get like during a battle, we'd be aggressive, we talk smack, we kind of put each other down, but that's kind of in the battle.
Yeah.
But beforehand, it would be like kind of the same kind of energy as well.
Bro, that stink, bro.
So it'd be like, guys, can't we be friends? Like,
yeah, hard Damn.
But yeah, seeing when Douche was running Swagfest, like everyone was just having fun and like hanging out and even eating together, like
that's dope.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I want to do that. Hit that comp. I was scared as because no one really knew who I was. And I just remember battling people like Nene, now's like a sister to me. Homie Trent.
Damn.
Yeah, I battled him there, and I was like, that was my first time getting to see Crumpers do Crump outside of Crump music.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's when I was like, whoa, I just got more respect for Crump after that. And yeah, so that was kind of my window back into the scene. I hit that, and I was like, I think I made like top 4 or something.
Tight.
And yeah, it just made me hungrier and hungrier. So every comp after that, I was just like, yeah, I'll go to that. I'll go to that.
Did the competition scene start to get healthier from that point?
Yeah, I think so.
True. What do you think it was? Do you think like Swagfest was just that first event that just showed everybody that we can be friends, or did something else change there?
Yeah, I don't know if it was even just like a mix up of judging as well.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the first time that I'd seen some different events run, any style kind of comps, but the judges were like, they were all just choreography heads.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And this kind of comp, you'd see a locker be the judge, you'd see a crumper be the judge, you'd see a b-boy be the judge.
Yeah.
And so you got, it was a more fair competition. Yeah. And because I think those judges were set like that, all the other genres, like, because I was a b-boy, I had to respect the lockers that were locking against me a lot more because there's a locking judge right there.
Wow, that's buzzy. So interesting to hear.
Because, I was thinking back to, like, I don't know if you ever seen the old crumping versus breaking with tie-dyes against, like, a whole bunch of the b-boy heads from, I think, California.
Bro, the only one I can, like, fully know is, like, tie-dyes versus Junior, bro.
Yeah.
That was just too iconic to miss it.
Well, see, yeah, like, it's just my opinion, but on that crumping versus breaking, there was a huge lack of respect from both sides. So, like, the b-boys, obviously were mocking the crumpers, like, oh, you guys look like gorillas kind of thing. And, the crumpers in turn were, I think they were the more respective party, but you could just see the clash wasn't, the battle just didn't go respectfully.
It's just because b-boy culture as well, like, it's natural to want to mock your opponent.
Yeah.
But it's a bit like, it is rude, Like, and some b-boys, especially like Lilu.
Yeah.
He's just a rude dude, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess it was just a huge clash of cultures. But seen with Swagfest and even BADLs, all the other comps, that they started to bridge that gap of just, okay, we're going to see what they've got and not just laugh at them the whole time. And, I don't know, I guess could start to see the actual talent and skill in what they were doing.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's... here's an interesting question, bro. Like, nowadays, I don't know how many battles you've been to, but to the ones that you have been to, do you feel like there's still a disconnect between some dance styles? Like, some aren't appreciated as much as others?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I think it's alright for the crowd to kind of be naive about, a dance style. Like, for instance, like with b-boys, a lot of the time, crowds won't respect the footwork technique.
Yeah.
Like, you could see someone like my boy Copper.
Yeah.
Who's, a footwork fanatic. He does so many crazy patterns that, if you really know what you're looking at, you should be amazed. Like, like, wow, this guy's crazy. He's got patterns for days. Whereas, like, someone like me, I come through a little bit more explosive, and I could do something simple, like, like a spinning flip,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna get all the props. But like, I think where the lack of respect shouldn't be is from, from the competitors.
Yeah.
So guys that don't really know crump still do that same thing and try and mock it, like arm swinging is dumb, but just like with breaking, how you do it is all the difference. You can do a 6-step and be whack,
Yeah.
You could do a 6-step and be dope. Same as you could do an arm swing and be cake,
Oh. Like, do we think we need to fix that? Or how do we go about fixing that?
I think just like for me, because I am a b-boy, but I've tried to do all the other styles.
Yeah.
And I suppose like even for me, learning styles like jazz and ballet, only done a bit of those, but even just doing a little bit of that made me like, wow, there's actual, like, this deserves some respect. Like,
Tight.
beforehand I was making fun of those dances. And so I guess if you just educate yourself by trying the dance style, you'll see that there's a lot of difficulty. There's a lot to be admired.
Tight. I like that answer, because like you will only really know someone's pain if you experience it yourself.
Yeah.
I'm tight. So what happened after Swagfest and everything?
Bro, I just was going crazy. Like, I think like I was even starting to annoy my wife. Like,
Oh, real?
yeah, because like one week I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to Hamilton for this comp.
Yeah.
And then the next week she's like, oh yeah, I was planning for us to go to this. I was like, oh, I'm going to Auckland for this comp.
Was she your wife at the time as well?
No, she wasn't.
Oh, yeah.
But we already had a child, I think, at that point, and she's pretty much my wife already.
Yeah, hard.
But
There's a shout out to the wife.
Yeah, shout out to the wifey. I just went hard, bro, and I noticed myself just progressively get better.
Tight.
And one thing I noticed was like people were assuming that I was getting better at like just with moves.
Yeah.
But I wasn't actually getting much better with the moves I had. I was just getting more confident with doing them. And so as the next comp rolled by, my confidence was going up. And so I guess I feel like I just appeared like I was better.
Oh.
Just because of the confidence,
Damn. That's so tight.
Like I didn't change the moves.
Yeah.
Like I already had those moves.
Yeah. But there's just like there's a little bit of extra step in your moves, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's the like I believe I'm gonna win, Whereas at first Swagfest, I kind of felt like I'm pretty good, but on a national scale, I was like, I don't know how good. And a few comps later, I think I was starting to win some comps now, and I was like, whoa, I'm pretty good. Like,
Yeah, you're tight, bro. So how'd you get your name?
J-Fresh. So like before I got J-Fresh, I was called Bboy Flex.
Yeah.
And
Bboy Flex.
So if you don't know, like most b-boys of old would get their b-boy names kind of gifted to them, so it would be attributed to like just something about them. Like I always use B-Boy Stretch Mark as a bit of an example, because that's quite a crazy name just to begin with. Like people don't like stretch marks. Majority of people. But for him, his name was all about, stretching the mark. So whenever he breaks.
No way, is that actually?
Yeah.
Wow.
So like if you're going to do an Indian step, right?
Yeah.
He's going to do it way bigger than you.
Damn.
He's stretching the mark of like being extreme.
That's insane. I never knew that was the core behind his name. Wow.
And so, so I was like, that for me went like, that was a whack name, but now it's a mean name, Like,
tight,
yeah. And but B-Boy Flex, to me, I kind of got cursed with that. Did I tell you yesterday?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was basically, kids hanging out. I think I was in like intermediate high school, and we're climbing trees. I fell out of the tree, smashed my back on a branch as I fell back, and pretty much my head touched the back of my heels, my whole back bent back, and it would have looked like I was flexible. Really, I was just hurt. And yeah, since that day, like the boys that were there, they were just like, "Whoa, you're so flexible, bro." Like, I wasn't.
Like, was it a joke, or did they actually just think like, damn, this dude's flexible?
I don't know. I think it was both. Like,
Oh yeah,
you know, boys being boys. And so when I started dancing at like random discos and like at my nan used to run a skate town that had you know, a big huge skate rink in it.
tight.
And there'd always be like a bit of a dance off like halfway through the night there. And so when I danced there, you know, there'd be people on the mic, and then yeah, my boys were yelling out to the DJ, "That's Bboy Flex, that's Bboy Flex." And I was like, "No, I'm not Bboy Flex." And they're like, "He's flexible." And then the crowd started chanting, you know, just flex, flex, flex.
Damn,
flex.
bro, you were actually cursed with that name, bro.
And I was like, no, and I was, you know, in the middle of the dance floor, like yelling, no. Next event, it was the same thing, you know. Oh, we got Bboy Flex in the house. So years and years later, you know, I mean, I don't know, maybe like 9 years later, I'm back in the scene, and I'm like, man, I don't want to be Bboy Flex anymore, because everyone kept coming up to me, you know, afterwards, like, "Are you really flexible? Can you do this flexible thing with your arms?"
So throughout that whole time span, from when you got your name to like when you changed it, like you were always addressed as Bboy Flex.
Yeah.
Damn.
See,
bro.
like Izzy,
Yeah.
he still calls me Flex.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Crack up.
Yeah. But when it came time for name change, you know, like it's quite hard to try and just name yourself, especially when like the kaupapa, or like the, you know, the kind of the guidelines for being a b-boy is like getting gifted a name. You know, I felt like, oh, I'm being a little bit rude to like the culture by naming myself. But I just wanted something that, you know, would actually fit me a bit better.
Yeah.
So I went with J-Fresh because like a lot of the compliments I'd had from like my choreography dance life is like, "Bro, you're so clean when you dance. Like everything you do is really clean. You know, all about clean lines, clean arm movements, clean technique." I was like, oh, yo. And so that kind of stuck out for me as something that I want to improve on and be better at. So I hit up Google, and you know, I was like, okay, clean. What's some other words for clean?
Oh, no way.
And fresh popped up, and I was like, oh. Because fresh is like one of those overused hip-hop words.
Yeah.
You know, like, that boy is fresh. You know, but I went with it anyway just because, you know, it meant something to me.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was my aspiration, just to be clean with everything I do.
Okay, J-Fresh, I'll ask you this question then, bro. Do you think, because even though you did change your name yourself, do you think it's better to be given your name, or do you reckon it doesn't really matter at all?
Oh, yeah, like, I've heard some others answer this as well, and I'm kind of on that page where, like, if you're really new to the game, I don't think you should be bothering with trying to give yourself a name at all, you know?
Yeah.
Simply because you haven't earned anything yet.
Hard.
So, yeah, I don't know. I felt like, you know, I'd been in the game long enough to warrant having some authority to name myself.
Ah, I see.
And if anybody did have a problem with it, I'd be like, well, let's battle, you know?
Yeah. That's tight.
I think, you know, if you're confident enough to hold your own against naysayers, you know, against you and your name, you know, you can put it on the floor and prove why you have that name.
That's such a good perspective, because like the whole idea of like earning it,
Yeah.
you know, earning it. Sometimes people just expect to get it.
Yeah.
You know, they just come like into the game for maybe a few months. They're like, all right, sweet. Like, what's my name?
Yeah.
Like, who am I gonna be? And the thing is, like, at that point, when you're even like 1 year into the game, you're still trying to figure everything out.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
in 1 year, you can't be an amazing dancer, but you're still gonna be on your way.
Yeah.
And then, like, you know, later down in the line, when you've like kind of figured out like what kind of dancer you want to be, I feel like that's when you know, find your name.
Yeah. But I mean, like, even like some names that just stick, like the legendary Swerve from Wally. You know, I call him the grandfather of hip hop to Aotearoa.
Damn.
just because he's one of the oldest and greatest to ever do it here. But his name Swerve came from high school.
Yeah.
He was just really good at dodgeball.
Oh, true.
Yeah, so
Oh,
like like they call him the Swerve Master. Like,
damn.
'cause I was like, yo, from dodgeball, like, but that's the kind of guy he was. He was slick with moving. So
Bro, that's slick, eh?
Yeah.
Like, just imagine that. You're just like so good at dodgeball. Swerve Master. Bro, that sounds mean.
yeah,
Bro, I'd love to have that name in high school, bro. Andy the Swerve Master.
yeah.
Yeesh.
Oh,
Bro, so the B-boy scene back then, was it like as... Because naturally, like, B-boy scene is quite competitive.
Yeah.
Was it toxic back then?
yeah. There was a lot of like, I don't know, like, I think the other day people were talking about a little bit of the rise and fall, I guess, of breaking.
Yeah.
And just some of the toxic behaviors was like everybody was being too precious with their moves, their skill set, their knowledge.
Precious, as in...
Oh, kind of like they wanted to, like, I suppose since the late 70s and 80s, breaking kind of got ripped off from the world, from the media.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, obviously the B-boys and B-girls created this beautiful dance style as a way to channel creativity, stay positive, and be great at something, because they come from neighborhoods that academically weren't that successful.
Yep.
And when the media hit and found out about breakdancing, they kind of just ripped off like a whole bunch of things, changed the name even from breaking to breakdancing, and just exploited it. They'll give our dancers peanuts for their talent, for infomercials, whereas they're paying others like musicians really well, makeup artists really well, but the dancers just getting ripped off. So I think it came about from that, just to really, like, even with teaching, like, I remember asking some B-boys and B-girls back then, like, yo, could you teach me something? And they were just like, nah, you're not down with us.
Oh, bro.
And I was like, oh,
That's fucked.
yeah. So there was that, like, and I get it now, because I could see that they were just kind of trying to safeguard and only give out the knowledge and the moves to people that they could trust,
Yeah.
that weren't going to just go out there and learn an L kick and then be doing that on infomercials and stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even I think that whole thing, like, you go to an event, everyone would be stretching in like 4 different corners of a room.
Damn.
And just not approach each other. As well as, like, if you danced a different style, or like you could be a B-boy, but like if you were just more heavy on footwork.
Oh, that would even create separation as well.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
Or like if you just you focused a lot on top rocks, you'd kind of be over that side, and
Doesn't that kind of defeat the whole purpose of like hip hop and being united?
Yeah. I suppose at that time, New Zealand was still trying to learn about the whole peace, love, unity.
Yeah.
I mean, just like myself, the only moves I had was power moves, because that's all I knew.
So if you were to take on a student today, right, in today's current climate, what would you make sure that student has from your own experience of when you grew up with breaking? What are the values that you want that student to have?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think, like, first and foremost, just like everything you do with dance has to be fun. That's why like, I stole this from my bro Dujan, but he teaches fundamentals.
Yeah.
Keyword being fun.
Yeah.
So like people do it for a job a lot of the time, and drop the whole fun, but like you got to keep having fun with it.
Yeah.
So having fun, and just always pushing yourself. When you learn your moves, right, just remember that one move is never as good as it could be.
Mm.
You know, like, don't think of your coolest trick or your coolest move and think like that's the limit of what that move can be. You can always add to it. You can always twist it. You can always change the way you enter it, go out of it.
Mm.
And that way you'll keep learning and you'll
Yeah.
keep... But also the each one teach one thing. If they're always teaching, you know, when you become a teacher yourself, it grows you and keeps you hungry.
Yep.
You know, because when you see someone else develop and get that smile on their face,
Yeah,
the same way
definitely.
you got that when I learned my first flare,
Mm.
yeah, you know, you're forever gonna be having fun with this. Mm.
So J-Fresh, like the b-boy community nowadays, like, or at least the one we have in NZ,
Mm.
the one I'm exposed to is like the Auckland scene, and like the Auckland scene's dead.
Yeah.
And like the thing is, like, I just want to know, like, from your perspective, like, how did the scene die out? How did the scene die out, and how do we stop it from dying out?
I think, well, like, you know, there's a ton of reasons why it died out in a way, and a lot of that came from just different leaders just stopped teaching or disbanded their crews,
Yeah.
and a lot of that actually stemmed from like relationship issues.
Did they leave anything behind when they disbanded, or did they just disband and just say laters?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
So you had these incredible, talented people.
So much knowledge just gone.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of just all thrown away. And yeah, so there was a big generation gap of just nobody that learnt and nobody that could pass it on.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, no, so you know, there were the few that stuck around and taught, or like actually, you know, like even some of those reasons, you know, are justified reasons. Like some of our scene became fathers and mothers, and,
Yeah.
and decided to really pour their heart and soul into their children and families.
Yeah.
Same as, you know, like some who are having family members who are, you know, in drug and alcohol abuse situations, where now they were pouring their time into that, not so much into the scene. So I mean, you know, it's not the biggest hate on them for being like that, because you know, I've had my time off and on from the scene doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, how we get over that is just by being more approachable, for one. You know, like obviously when I approached several people to, you know, teach me something, you know, I basically got the backhand. So to our scene now, you know, if you see a kid, just like Bigsy was saying the other day, next time you're at an event, B-boys, B-girls, go and find someone that you know you can pour a little bit of something into, and you're going to sow that seed. Because I remember the first time someone I admired said that I was great, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll remember when you say that too, eh?
Yeah. Definitely. That's so crazy, because like when Big said it, like I was like, damn, like that's so true. Because even the time I spent with him yesterday, like he poured a little like bit into me, and I was like, you know what, I want to work on my power.
Yep.
Like I never wanted to work on my power, because like I thought it was like I just got turned off. Like the older I got, I was like, like I really want to do style now, because I feel like I want to like show more of who I am, and I don't think I could do that with power. But then Biggs gave me like this new perspective where I was like, no, you can. It's like it's just how you do it. Like you might be doing like the same power move, but how you do the power move, how you get into it, how you get out of it, like that's gonna change your style. And I was like, damn, facts.
Yeah.
And that one talk just got me inspired. I'm like, all right, sweet, all right, time to work.
Dope.
Yeah.
But like the scene for me, like it's funny because I come from Rotorua, and like whenever I come to Auckland, which is, I don't know, you could say it's sort of like our capital for breaking.
Is it? Really? I thought it'd more be like Mayaweli or like Christchurch or something.
Yeah, like I think it's just because Auckland puts on more events.
Damn, real.
Well, that's my opinion. But seeing as how I'm not from here, whenever I come up here, well, I suppose it's just my national, I guess, because you know, a few times I've popped down to Christchurch and you know hung with the CG boys, Common Ground. When I'm in Wally, I check out the scene there. When I'm up here, so I still feel quite connected to all the scenes.
Yeah.
So in my view, you know, it seems healthier than you guys are probably seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's the thing, eh? Like, I'm not exposed to as many scenes, so I'm just like, sometimes I look at my own scene, I'm like, oh, like, I feel like we could be putting on more events, but then at the same time, like, if I want more events to happen, I should just run it myself. Like,
Yeah.
It's hard, it's easier to say, like, oh, yo, can we, like, have more events? But if you don't do it yourself, then nothing's ever gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I think, like, what would be good is, because, you know, like, one of my ideas for, this is back when Rotorua had more of a scene. A lot of our B-boys have moved out of town and, you know, got families and stuff. Some of them overseas. So yeah. But, like, a good idea for, like, some of the locals is just to, like, if you've got a house, bro, and you got a shed that's big enough, you can run you a little comp there, just $5 each, and winner takes all. You know, just between, like, you know, if it's 4 of yous, go and ask one of your bros to, you know, come and judge it. You need one of them, shout them a feed, you know, as payment, and each time, you know, you're not going to be happy about losing to the bro every week at this little thing. Yeah, you know, it doesn't have to be a big event.
Alright, J-Fresh. 2 more questions for you. One question is, do you think you'll still keep dancing?
Yeah, like, you know, I'm 34 now.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, that's that older age now, I guess, for a b-boy, because b-boying's quite...
young man's game.
Yeah, quite a young man's game.
Yeah.
But to answer that question, it's easier. You know, I'm sure that, you know, my last day on earth, I'm probably going to be dancing then too.
Yeah.
You know, it's just something that I can't stop doing, you know. My wife says it all the time, you know, when we first met, you know, I was just, anytime we're in town, we're walking past and we see like a window where you can see yourself, I'll stop and see how one of these moves in my head looks, you know.
Yeah, tight.
And I'm still like that now, you know. Which embarrasses my kids.
Yeah. Was there ever a point in time where you just fell out of love with dancing?
Yeah, it was more when I was in the choreo scene, just because... I don't know, no hate on the choreo scene, because I love dancing like that.
Yeah.
Togetherness, the unity, the chills, the hangout times. Like, there's just so much cool stuff to that, but I like the way, like, solo dancing challenges me. And I can't blame anyone else for, like, you know, like, say you're in a crew and you lost a competition, you could kind of, like, sit back on that. Yeah, well, you know, I did my part, but, you know. Kind of thing. But, you know, if you're solo and you lose, it's all on you.
Def's there.
Yeah. And I don't know, I like the way that challenges you.
What was the biggest thing you learnt from one of your losses?
I put it down to, like, one of those comps that Buddha ran. I think it was a Fist of Fury. I was in a 7 to Smoke, and for me, I can't even remember everyone that entered, but everyone that was there in the 7 to Smoke were, like, idols to me. So, like, I looked up to a lot of these guys, like Stretch, Grub D. I looked up to these guys so much that when I battled, like, I've sat back and watched that footage from that night. I was like, to me, there was nothing wrong with the sets and moves and stuff that I did. Like, I was like, those were actually really tight sets, and I was like, man, the problem is I looked like I had a loser's mentality. Like, I just looked like I didn't believe I could win. And that's how I felt. Like, that is how I felt. You know, I feel like, man, I can't beat Grub D. That's Grub D. Like, I'll do this set and then I'll get off the stage and, you know, take my L.
Oh, damn.
And even my wife was saying to me afterwards, she was like, you know, why did you battle like that?
She noticed as well.
Yeah, she was like, you normally battle people like you're going to destroy them, like they're easy work. But then I was like, and for me at the time, I was like, what do you mean? I didn't fail anything. Like, you know, every move was clean. All my freezes were held perfect. And yeah, she was like, no, you're just, your attitude looked like you didn't want to win, or you didn't think you could win. And I was like, oh. So when I rewatched it, yeah, that's what I saw, and I was like, whoa, I'm never gonna, like, I'm gonna respect those guys.
Yeah.
Always, because they're amazing, but I'm never gonna battle them again as if thinking like I can't beat you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna treat them the same way I do with a day one b-boy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna go as hard as I can, and yeah, just show you my style without holding back. You know, I was like sad facing it the whole time.
Crack up. All right, J-Fresh, last question for you, bro. Alright, if you could say something this is the closing question I ask everybody. So if you could say something to J-Fresh 5 years ago, what would it be?
Ooh. I think just appreciate the relationships you have. Like much more. Like I appreciated it then, but like what I mean is like the community of hip hop, like, you know, like the dance community is my second family. You know, we talk the same language. We you know, it doesn't matter what ethnicity we are. We all, like, we're just like the same. You know, but just like appreciate those relationships in life. So like, you know, when a home, that's why I'm like the way I am now. That when a homie's coming through town, I'm like, bro, stay at mine.
Yeah.
You know, to anyone, and that's almost anyone that comes into my circle of life. Is just, yeah, be cool to them. You know, because they might end up being like world champ, like Izzy. You know,
especially with like the talent that we have here, like. Sometimes it might not feel like we can make the road because we're so isolated. But like, bro, we got some like really mad dancers here, bro. It's insane. Oh. All right, second part to the question. What do you want for the you 5 years from now? So what would you like to say to that person?
I'd like to say I hope you've been teaching more people, and you've been doing what Biggsy said, and focusing in on our next gen. You know, if at least just one person at a time.
Yep.
Each event, and that I hope you know, you've improved and become a better dad than the current dad, and a better husband.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. That concludes us for this episode. Big thank you to J-Fresh for joining us today.
All good, man. All good.
And that is us, guys. We will see you next week. Peace.